Part 4. The Siege of the Royal Palace. Preparing for the attack. As the sun rose the following day, the rebels gathered in their hideout, their hearts filled with a mix of fear and hope. Nروi stood among them, holding the royal sword, which emitted a golden glow that seemed to pulse with life. Today is not just a battle against the forces of the palace, it's the beginning of the end of an era of darkness, Nروi said with a commanding voice. The palace is well fortified, but we have something no one else ever had. The royal sword, a symbol of light, added Everin, pointing to a hand-drawn map of the palace laid out on the ground. The plan relied on teamwork and discipline. The infiltration team, led by Kyle, they would sneak through the underground tunnels to open the gates. The main force, led by Nروi, they would engage the royal guards and confront the shadow entities. The support group, tasked with ensuring the safety of civilians within the palace and escorting them to safety. Remember, darkness draws its strength from our fear. If we work together, we will break it, Everin said, placing her hand on Nروi's shoulder. The journey to the palace. As night fell, the rebels moved quietly across the plains toward the palace. The air was heavy with tension, and the sky was covered with thick clouds that concealed the moon. They reached the outskirts of the palace, where its towering spires seemed to pierce the clouds. This place is more than just a palace. It's a fortress of darkness itself, Kyle said, observing the patrolling guards on the walls. Sneaking through the tunnels. Kyle led a small team into the network of underground tunnels, which were filled with cobwebs and pitch darkness. The walls were adorned with ancient stone masks that seemed to watch their every move. These tunnels haven't been used in years, but they might be guarded in other ways, Kyle warned as they moved cautiously. When they neared the lower gate, they encountered a barrier of shimmering shadows. It's a magical guard, but not strong enough to stop us, Kyle said as he used a special tool to dismantle the barrier. They opened the gate silently, allowing the main force to enter. Storming the main courtyard. Nروi's force advanced through the dark corridors until they reached the palace's inner courtyard. The royal guards were waiting for them, but what was more terrifying was the appearance of shadow entities advancing slowly but confidently. Prepare yourselves. Don't let the darkness overpower you, he shouted, raising the royal sword. With every golden beam the sword unleashed, the entities retreated, but the battle was fierce. The guards were highly trained, and the shadow entities exploited every moment of weakness. This sword is powerful, but it's not enough without us working together, Kyle said as he blocked an attack from a guard. The dark entity appears. As the battle raged in the courtyard, a mysterious figure emerged on the palace's main balcony. Cloaked in a long black robe, an aura of thick darkness surrounded them. At last, you've come to meet your end, the figure said in an ominous voice, raising their hand. A wave of shadows surged toward Nروi, who raised the royal sword to block the attack. I won't let you win, he yelled, but the force of the attack pushed him back. The battle of light and darkness. The courtyard turned into a battlefield of epic proportions. Guards and entities were everywhere, while the rebels fought valiantly to hold their ground. The sword requires more than physical strength. It needs inner light, Everin said as she stepped toward her. How do I use it then? He asked, struggling to fend off the shadows. Remember the moments that shaped your life. The moments when you felt pure and truly powerful, Everin said. Nروi began recalling his childhood, his promise to his father, and his desire to protect those he loved. With each memory, the sword's glow intensified until it illuminated the entire courtyard. The final confrontation. Nروi faced the dark entity, who descended from the balcony to stand before him. You're just a child. You can't overcome the darkness that fills this place, the entity said, launching another wave of shadows. But Nروi channeled the sword's energy to unleash a powerful beam of light that tore through the shadows, forcing the entity to retreat. This is not your end, but the beginning of your understanding of the truth, the entity said before disappearing into a swirl of smoke. Seizing the palace. With the entity gone, the shadows began to dissipate, and the shadow entities crumbled. The rebels cheered in victory, but the palace felt as if it still held deeper secrets. "We've taken control of the palace, but the full truth remains hidden," Everin said, looking at the sword, which had returned to its quiet glow. "We'll uncover everything, no matter the cost," Arvid said with determination. A temporary conclusion. As the rebels celebrated in the courtyard, a lingering sense of danger loomed. "The next battle will be greater." "We're not finished yet," Arvid said, gazing at the dark horizon. To be continued in Part 5. Secrets of the Mysterious Throne.